Yeah, that usually only happens after a sadistic villainess gaslights you into doing it. We opened this week, before even the sun rose, with Kostan dragging a rather heavy-looking cart all the way to school with her, whilst being stalked by a crazy yandere. And that's why I told y'all not to take that trip to Hinamizawa. She later clarified what she was doing through what should have been a monologue, but instead she just talked directly to the frickin' narrator. Hey, come on guys, I told you I want that fourth wall fixed by the end of the day. But yeah, the reason Kostan had arrived early that morning was to renovate the Deer Club's room into something more presentable, and to her credit, she did make it look a lot better for something that, I remind you, was originally a storage closet, or maybe I don't have to remind you, as it looked like it once again, complete with some anti-Deerite graffiti. Huh, didn't know the show took place in California. And for some strange reason, she thought Nokotan had done this, which again, anti-Deerite graffiti girl. Of course, someone was after Nokotan, as they even tried to kill her on her way to school, and worst of all, scared her with bottles of water, which, yeah, unless this is wonderful pre-gear, old wives' tales like that and squirrels having expandable cheeks aren't actually real things, just saying. However, Kostan tried to play devil's advocate until a kunai passed her and almost hit Nokotan. Girl, keep your Nen or Hamon or Fist of the North Star or, just keep your shonen references in check. And eventually, the assailant pulled out her greatest weapon, the deer crackers. And with Kostan being unable to quell the deer girl's natural instincts, she fell into the obvious trap. And this led to the attacker finally revealing herself. Huh, so in this world, Miku and Mafu are sisters. I kind of saw that coming, and yet I didn't want to see that coming. But yeah, Anko here was a very dangerous cis-con who wanted to completely exterminate the fawn who had dared to separate her from her sister every day for what couldn't have been more than an hour, really. However, I guess for this little psycho, even a millisecond without her sister felt like an eternity. I mean, you're dating a guy who works directly under Boruto's dad, so you should know more than anyone else. From there, I think all of the VAs in the scene trying to compete to see who could draw out their voice first. Like seriously, much of the comedy in this episode just came from the performances, from Nokotan going full Gon, and Anko turning into the love child of Yuno Gasai and Rena Ryugu. Honestly, I gotta give a lot of credit to Rui Tanabe, as I'm not even all that familiar with most of her filmography. Anyway, to settle their differences, Anko agreed to a one-on-one contest with Nokotan, under the condition that if she won, she'd have to move to the deer park in Nara, the place that we actually see in the ending credits. In exchange, if Nokotan won, well, you can guess what she wanted. I mean, to be fair, those things do go for 150 yen a pack, and considering how much she eats, well, at best, I'd give her like 2 minutes. The contest ended up being a game show completely based around Kostan, in that all of the trivia questions were about her, including her sleeping habits and whether or not she was wearing a bra currently.
This is my serious face.
And both contestants managed to answer their questions correctly, except for one instance, where the question seemed to be how many romantic partners of either gender had Kostan gone through, which of course the answer was 0. But man, they really overcomplicated this reboot of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Oh come on, I don't watch that many game shows, so I don't know this stuff. And the contest continued with more embarrassing secrets of her being exposed, including how she wet the bed until she was 10 and no comment. In the end though, both were tied with 98 million points each, so they went through 19,600,000 questions about Kostan, which, yeah, very understandably left her as the Joe in this contest. Seemingly left with no other choices, Uncle just went back to trying to get rid of the deer the old-fashioned way. Hey, I'll take it over Boruto any day of the week. However, one of her kunai misfired and ended up heading towards her sister, so of course Nokotan did the most cliched thing possible, instead of just pushing her out of the way. And as a result, Nokotan seemed to pass on, with a mysterious steam coming out of her, so yeah, that was a JoJo reference, I guess. However, when Bambi's mom, and aunt I guess, came down together, Saint George kicked her back down to earth. Well, if it works in JoJo and Yakuza. I mean, credits due, I actually did go back and look, and sure enough, the crackers were there as Koshitan fell on them, so good solid storytelling there. Recognizing that Nokotan had saved her sister and deserved to be by her side, Anko admitted defeat. However, in turn, Nokotan pointed out that it was her deer crackers that saved the day, unintentionally because she stuck them into her shirt, but hey, semantics. And she even said that one phrase that still triggers me in Precure. But whatever, that totally justifies this creepy, incestuous little sister, and yeah, I think we were all making the same face as Koshitan as the episode closed out. Episodes like this do kind of remind me that I have a preference for Yandere over Tsundere. Oh, not so much because I find them cute or attractive in any way IRL, but more so because they can be legit entertaining when they're written as over the top as Uncle and her obsession with her sister. Again, I would approve of them in real life, of course, but if they do end up becoming like the ultimate kunoichi, well, then I gotta go get my popcorn. For clarification, I do think Yandere can legit have some of the most compelling stories in many series where they're featured. Just look at pretty much the whole biography of Rikushi 07. However, and let's be honest here, they are inherently over the top, so why not use them for comedy, and hell, even throw in a little incest while you're at it. Stuff like that does make Uncle's aggression towards Nokotan all the more entertaining, as it is clear that she has more than a few dozen screws loose. This is of course helped by her VA's surprisingly really good performance, where she could change her tone at the drop of a dime. This especially got across thanks to some of the amazingly terrifying faces she got throughout this one. Likewise, her target in Nokotan matched the switch between her normal airheaded voice to go on making a traumatic vow. As a result, the episode was just a plain old ham-off between the two, or sometimes three when Koshitan came in, though her octaves didn't change nearly as much as these two. Regardless, all three girls, and their little love triangle, was endlessly fun, complete with even some slightly more digestible references than last week. Helps that they're references from properties that I really like, but that's beside the point. Because overall, this was a really fun introduction to probably the most destructive member of the show's core cast, through some great dark comedy and some amazing performances, especially from Uncle's VA. I was told that Mafuyu Asahina was a tragic character from the Project Sekai series, so maybe we should just be glad that she found a much happier life here, or not. But yeah, again, we managed to get this review done early because I think some Japanese streaming site called Abeba gets the episodes early. Thus, I think our review schedule going forward will be this show on Thursdays, Boom Boomja on Sundays, VTuber Legend on Mondays, and our usual alternating reviews going back on Wednesdays. It's going to be a bit of a busy summer with a lot of editing, but I think we can push through it. So please look forward to it. Until then, though, for now, my friends, and if you're looking for a telephone pole to hide behind, we really don't have that many in this area, and I wouldn't recommend going behind the tree or... Too late.